There's a good chance you haven't seen South Korean action film Ballerina, and if you love action cinema, you should. Now, this isn't to be confused with the upcoming John Wick universe spin-off, The Ballerina, starring Ana de Armas. No. This film centers around a former bodyguard on a quest for revenge as her best friend's dying wish. A simple revenge flick on the surface, but within its 94-minute runtime, The Ballerina packs in some great action sequences in a surprisingly well-directed film. Now, I only say surprisingly because this is director Lee Chung-hyun's third feature film, and action films generally aren't well known for their overall production and direction. Now, I will be covering some of the plot details, so I will place a spoiler alert here. Also, a warning that this film contains violence, themes of self-harm, SA, as well as trafficking, so be cautious if any of these themes are sensitive to you. Former bodyguard Ok-ju visits her friend, a ballerina named Minnie, and comes across a note detailing her final wish. Then discovers her body in the bathroom. Following a clue on the note, Ok-ju tracks down drug dealer Choi Pro, and learns that he drugs women, assaults them, and films these assaults. One of the victims being her friend Minnie. Ok-ju sets a trap for Choi, and gives him the Joker special, but he gets away. She rescues a girl who is being trafficked, but then gets reacquired, so Ok-ju not only sets out to rescue her, but put away Choi's creepy ass for good. And after killing a lot of people on the way, she finally tortures him on a beach that was close to her and her friend. When I first watched this movie, I almost gave up on it immediately. As intriguing as the intro was, the fight sequence bothered me, as it appears that we were in for yet another action film that just darts the camera around and cuts every half second. I was won back rather quickly though, as the scenes immediately following were shot very well. You wouldn't really expect a lot from an action film, but the film makes use of good angles, space, and colors to subtly convey changes in mood and personality. For example, Ok-ju's apartment is low-lit, warm, and uses space to illustrate the main character's isolation. Compare that to her friend, the ballerina. Minnie's apartment is filled with neon lights, trinkets, and a sense of optimism. Well, except for one room. Even Choi's house is filled with expensive things and art that just sits in a pile. He's a man who likes to impress with money and culture, supposedly. But once he gets home, he doesn't really care for this stuff. It's all about appearances. In an interview for Netflix, director Lee Chung-hyun stated that he wanted many aspects of the younger culture and trends to carry over into the film. This resulted in having a rather young crew in charge of art direction, costumes, and music. Yet another aspect that hit the mark the entire length of the film. The score was composed by South Korean producer and musician Gray. His work on the film was outstanding. Opting out of the traditional orchestral movie scores, the tracks felt very modern. Comprised of hip-hop beats, synthwave, electronic, and some classical elements. It all fit perfectly within the film, and whilst not distracting from what was happening on screen, it really stood out. In one of the final battles, there was some really great editing with the music where gunshots hit certain beats in the track, which I enjoyed. In an interview, Gray contextualized the music pieces as being part of Ok-ju's own ballet recital, mirroring an onstage production. When it comes to acting, Jong-seo, also known as Rachel,
You can call me Rachel.
deserves a ton of credit. Her portrayal of the Ok-ju character is menacing, brooding, and at times vulnerable. She has the eye gift. They can be soft and delicate, or they can flood with rage. Her character isn't just one-dimensional. Her range of emotions throughout the film present a hero that feels, that is relatable. I'm not sure what's in store for her future, but I'd love to see her in another action or horror role, and hopefully even in some more Hollywood productions.
I don't want to go back there!
The film's antagonist, Choi Pro, is played by a youthful-looking 40-year-old Kim Ji-hoon. Choi is a rich, evil playboy, and I had to remind myself that this guy was just an actor, not this unhinged creep he plays in the film.
논어의 시작 구절이 그거거든요. 학이 시습지 부역 여호. 그러니까 배우고 때때로 익히니 즐겁지 아니한가.
It really goes to show how well he was able to bring this character to life, and he deserves a lot of credit for that. Now, we don't see a lot of present-day ballerina Minhee in the film, and our exposure to her is in flashbacks, but her work should not be understated. A big part of the film's motivation was her relationship with Ok-ju. Now, I had read online that the relationship between Ok-ju and her friend Minnie was not specified. Were they lovers or were they just friends? To be honest, I actually think it's better that they don't specify. The ambiguity is great and it allows the audience to determine for themselves. At the same time, I also think of it the same way as any other relationship. It's between them. Not everything needs to be defined, you know. The more important part, and what is made clear enough, is that Minnie brought light into Ok-ju's life. And even though Ok-ju's apartment, clothing, and demeanor don't outwardly express it, she needed someone to show her that light. It's like Daisy in John Wick. It wasn't just about someone killing his dog, it was about what the dog represented and how that was taken away from him.
In that moment, I received some semblance of hope.
I mentioned earlier that I was disappointed with the first fight, but halfway through the movie, the action sequences got better. I'm not sure what happened here, but these sequences saw much improvement to the point where the final fight has become a favorite of mine. It's strange that in a single movie they can employ techniques similar to the worst action scenes out there, and then turn it around completely by the end. Across these action scenes, I saw many nods to other well-known action films such as The Man from Nowhere, The Killer, Kate, Old Boy, and The Night Comes for Us. The final fight uses a number of different techniques and setups, illustrating the filmmakers put thought and care into its execution. The choreography was great, alternating from weapons to hand-to-hand combat. The use of these tables here to bottleneck the attackers was smart not only from a filming perspective, but a combat perspective. Ok-ju also gets hit a number of times. Until she can get her hands on a pistol again, she struggles to even the odds. This scene is well crafted to show skill, action, and build tension. Overall, Ballerina proves that South Korea can still put up strong action films. The collaboration with a younger generation of artists shows us that even though the revenge genre in film is decades old, you can still shake it up by including their voices. A very solid performance in acting and physicality from Jong-seo really helps propel this feature. I give it 4.5 stars out of 5. While it's no Citizen Kane, if you enjoy action, it's a great watch. That's gonna be it for this video. Thank you for watching and take care of yourself. I will catch you next time.